What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on ESPN, I'm going to be talking about the NFL draft. Yes, I know the draft is about a month ago, but I still have a few things I'd like to say about it. So let's talk about the number one pick. So Joe Burrow was a quarterback at LSU, who's number one pick for the Cincinnati Bengals. So Joe Burrow was 6'4", 221 pounds, and last year he pretty much did everything he could do in college. So last year for the LSU Tigers, he went 15-0. He won the Heisman Trophy Award and became a national champion. So because of those accomplishments, he was rewarded with being the number one pick. So let's take a quick look at Joe Burrow's stats last year. So for passing, Joe Burrow threw for 5,671 yards. That's number one for quarterbacks in college last year. He threw a rock 527 times. He completed 402 of those passes. His completion percentage is 76. He threw 60 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So he's tossing the rock everywhere. He can also run a little bit. So he ran 115 times last year for 368 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3.2 yards an average. So Joe Burrow definitely took care of business last year, and I can see why he was the number one pick. So let's take a quick look at the pre-draft analysis for Joe Burrow. So Burrow's pocket presence, accuracy, and toughness are elite. His ability to throw receivers open and understanding of when to give receivers a chance to make contested catches jumps out on tape. So I definitely agree with that. A good example would be against number 4 Oklahoma last year, when Justin Jefferson caught the rock for 227 yards, and for the year he had 111 catches for 1,540 yards and 18 touchdowns. So him and Joe Burrow really connected, which really hyped up Joe Burrow and made him look very good. They really played off of each other. So let's see, continue here. He excels at recognizing when a defender has his back to him and won't be able to locate the ball. Burrow also has athletic ability and speed to extend plays and scramble for first downs. So I'll agree with that too. And another wide receiver that Joe really connected with was Jamar Chase. So against Clemson, number 3 Clemson in the national championship game, he got the rock for 221 yards. He absolutely balled out. And for the season, he had 84 catches for 1,780 yards and 20 touchdowns. So both of those guys really balled out. Joe Burrow definitely had some key receivers to get the rock to, and he was able to get it to them in excellent fashion. So let's take a quick look at Joe Burrow's. What he did against top competition last year. So against ranked teams, let's start with the ranked teams. So number 9 Texas, he threw for 471 yards. Number 7 Florida, he threw for 293 yards. Number 9 Auburn, he threw for 321 yards. Number 3 Alabama, he threw for 393 yards. I think that might have been a different game if Tua Tagovailoa was healthy for Alabama, but it is what it is. Against number 4 Georgia, 349 yards. Throwing against number 4 Oklahoma in the playoffs, 493 yards. And against number 3 Clemson in the national championship game, he threw for 460 yards. So Joe Burrow, like I said, he's been balling all year. He took care of business in the games that he was supposed to take care of business. And that's why he won the Heisman Trophy Award. That's why he was 15-0. And that's why he's a national champion, because he just killed it last year. So let's take a quick look at post-draft analysis. Let's take a quick look at that here. So I'm going to read this real quick for you guys. Post-draft analysis. Cincinnati scored 21 plus points and NFL low 4 times last year. And while Andy Dalton certainly wasn't the only one responsible for offensive struggles, he is coming off with the worst season statistically. So let's take a quick look at Andy Dalton's stats for last year. So he threw for 3,494 yards. That's 18th overall for quarterbacks. He threw 16 touchdowns. That's 29th overall for quarterbacks. He threw 14 picks. That's 26th overall for quarterbacks. And his QBR was 40%. That's 27th overall for quarterbacks. So Andy Dalton's definitely at the lower echelon of the quarterbacks in the NFL. And so Joe Burrow definitely can come in and make some serious moves. So let's take a quick look at the Bengals overall. So Joe Burrow's going to be playing in the AFC North, where they have Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. And the Bengals went 2-14 last year, so that's a pure trash record. But let's continue reading on the post-draft analysis. The Bengals can save $17.7 million on the cap by trading or cutting the 32-year-old veteran. They hired a young, offensive-minded coach in Zach Taylor last year, and now they give him the best quarterback in this class to mold. So I can definitely see Joe Burrow making some moves with some new coaches. He has at least something to work with. So let's take a look at some of his weapons for the Cincinnati Bengals. So his running back is going to be Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon ran the rock 280 times last year. That's fifth overall for running backs. He ran for 1,137 yards. That's ninth overall for running backs. And he ran for 5 touchdowns. That's 26th overall for running backs. So Joe Burrow will have the ability to air out with Tyler Boyd, who's going to be his number 1 receiver for Cincinnati, and he had 90 receptions for 11 yards for being 11th overall for wide receivers. Excuse me, I messed that up. He caught for 1,046 yards. That's 25th overall for wide receivers, and he had 5 touchdowns. That's 42nd overall for wide receivers. So I can definitely see Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati and making some moves. Like I said, he has some new coaches. He has some weapons in Joe Mixon and Tyler Boyd. So it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good for Joe Burrow. So I can't wait to see him play next year and see how he handles